You see, when life takes a turn, when things don't go as you anticipated or expected, instead of asking why, we need to learn to ask what. And here's the first what we need to ask. Now what? Now what? In other words, coronavirus is here. Now what? I can't go out like I used to go out. I can't hang out with my friends like I used to hang out. Now what? I lost my job. Now what? My boyfriend, my girlfriend broke up with me. Now what? My spouse left me. Now what? I may lose my house. I have a financial a hardship on my hand. And we need to ask, instead of why, the question is what? In other words, God, what are you up to? God, what do you want to show me? God, what do you want to do through these circumstances that I'm now facing? Because if I get caught up thinking about the why, then I'm tempted to get angry, or I'm tempted to become full of self-pity and get stuck in the midst of a situation. If I stay on the idea of why doesn't lead me to anything good. But if I begin to ask the question, what? Then I begin to realize, okay, God, where are you and what do you want to do? Because what Paul experienced in the midst of this situation, he had no idea what God would do through it. Number one, he said that it became known through all of the palace guard. He was talking about the Praetorian Guard, the most elite force in the Roman Empire. They were the ones responsible for the security for the Caesar and all the important officials in the Roman government. They were the most crack force of all, and yet, because of Paul's imprisonment, many of them became followers of Jesus. It was a demographic that Paul could have never, ever reached outside of these circumstances, nor would he have ever dreamed that God would use this situation and turn it around and impact it for the gospel. Paul also said, number two, that others became emboldened because of his actions. Because of Paul's imprisonment, now others who were sitting on the sidelines, wanting Paul to keep doing all the work, now it inspired others. They became bold. They began to preach. This unleashed an entire army to take Paul's place and to do the will, and it spread the gospel in greater ways than Paul could have even imagined. But last but not least, now Paul had time on his hands. See, since coronavirus, you and I have had a decision. We've been quarantined, we've been stuck in situations. We've had choices. You can either sit in front of your TV and binge on Netflix, or you could do something to invest in yourself. You could get in shape. You could work on your marriage. You could work on your family. There are so many things we could do. And here Paul, sitting in the situation, because he didn't ask why, he asked what? He had time to write. And here's the importance, guys. Paul's writings did far more to advance the gospel than all of his preaching ever did combined. What Paul wrote in the New Testament shaped Western civilization. What Paul wrote in the New Testament has been winning people to Christ for the last 2,000 years. And he had no idea that to take him off the road, which didn't make any sense to him. I mean, come on, I'm giving my life to go where no one's ever gone before. I call him the Captain Kirk of world evangelism. He was willing to go where no one had gone before, but yet now it didn't make sense. I'm in prison. I'm not able to do this, but I got time on my hands. So instead of feeling sorry for myself, I'm going to write some letters, and I'm going to let the Holy Spirit use me. And he had no idea how much God would use that to advance his work.